I caught her whispering to her friend, "He's too scared to say no. He'll pay the whole trip." And without saying a word, I quietly closed the bedroom door, grabbed my keys, and walked to my car like nothing was wrong. I didn't drive away. I just sat there with the engine off, breathing slow, while the wheels of a different plan started turning in my head. That moment, those exact 11 words, felt like someone flicked a switch in me. Not anger, not heartbreak, something colder, something steady, the kind of calm that walks hand in hand with clarity. My name's Marcus, and up until that morning, I thought I was in a slightly complicated relationship. You know, the kind where people say, all couples fight, and you tell yourself it's normal, that she's just stressed, that she'll mellow out. I had a stable job, a small condo, a normal life. I don't buy flashy things. I don't chase status. But she, Lena, was addicted to it. Not to money itself, but to the appearance of having it. Designer bags she couldn't afford. Brunch places chosen only for the Instagram walls. Friends who ranked each other based on follower counts. She loved the idea of dating a solid guy. As she called me, the dependable one. The guy who didn't flake, who handled things, who picked up the bill because it's easier that way. At first, it felt flattering, necessary even, like I was playing the role of the grounded one. Then it shifted. Then it became expected. Then it became demanded. 3 weeks before the breaking point, she came to me waving her phone, excited. "Babe, everyone's booking Cabo for Elle's birthday. It's going to be the trip of the year." "Sounds expensive," I said lightly. She laughed and brushed my chest. "That's why I have you." I remember freezing for a moment, half expecting her to say she was joking. But she didn't. She walked off humming, already texting the group chat. "He's in. Told you." I should have seen everything earlier. But love makes you stupid in a quiet, sneaky way. It doesn't hit you all at once. It dissolves your boundaries grain by grain, until you suddenly notice you're standing knee-deep in red flags, wondering how you didn't see the first one. But that morning, the whisper wasn't subtle. I had walked into the apartment to bring her coffee. She didn't hear me come in. I heard her say it so casually, so confidently. "He's too scared to say no. He'll pay the whole trip." Then she added, "He should feel lucky. I mean, have you seen who he's dating?" Her friend snorted. "Make sure he books the suite. If he's paying, go big." Something in me went still. I backed away quietly and stepped outside before the urge to storm and ruin the opportunity for a much cleaner ending. Later that afternoon, she came bouncing into my living room, wearing that bright smile she used whenever she wanted something. She sat on my lap, wrapped her arms around my neck, and said all sweet and soft, "So, baby, the girls and I were thinking the platinum package is better. It includes the yacht day." "The yacht day?" I repeated calmly, as if I didn't already know everything. "Yeah," she chirped, toying with my collar. "And you'd love it. And you want me to look good for everyone, right?" There it was, status, reputation, audience. She didn't want a vacation. She wanted a stage. I asked her what the total came to. She rattled off a number that could have paid a month of my mortgage. She didn't blink. She didn't hesitate. She didn't even say thank you. And that's when I realized she didn't see me as a person. She saw me as a subscription, one she assumed would never cancel. But she still hadn't shown her hand fully. That happened 2 nights later. She had gone to shower, leaving her phone on the bed. It kept lighting up with messages from her friend group chat, the Queens. Normally, I would never invade someone's privacy, but I already knew what I had heard. I just needed proof. Proof she couldn't wiggle out of. Proof no one could deny. One message was from her best friend. Did he book it yet? Then another from a different friend. Imagine being a grown man and letting your girl plan his wallet. Then Lena replied, "He'll do it. I'll just cry if he tries to back out. He hates when I get upset." Then the final message, the one that sealed everything. He should be grateful. Once I'm done upgrading my image, I'll ditch him for someone at my level anyway. My stomach didn't drop. My heart didn't race. I didn't even feel anger. Just certainty. Cold, clean certainty. I put her phone back exactly where it was and walked to the kitchen to pour myself a glass of water. When she came out in her towel asking why I looked so thoughtful, I kissed her forehead and told her I was just tired. She smiled, satisfied. And right there, under that smile, I began planning her downfall. Not out of rage, not out of spite, out of justice. Because sometimes the quietest men deliver the loudest consequences. And hers was coming. I woke up the next morning with a strange lightness in my chest. Emotional detachment is powerful. Once you stop caring, you see everything clearly. And clarity makes planning easy. My plan was simple. I would give her exactly what she wanted, at least on the surface. I'd be sweet, patient, thoughtful. I'd pretend to be the dependable man she believed she had wrapped around her finger. Meanwhile, I'd rearrange the financial arrangements for the Cabo trip in a way none of them expected. By noon, I texted her, "Book the platinum package. I'll cover it." She replied instantly with, "Knew you would, babe. Love you." No emoji. No warmth. Just expectation satisfied. Perfect. I asked her to send me the booking link so I could put it on my card. She did. I clicked through the pages slowly, reading every checkbox and option. There was a field that asked if additional guests would be billed separately. It even allowed splitting charges by guest names. She and her friends had planned for me to pay for all 7 of them. But with 3 clicks and 1 confirmation screen, I set it so every single one of them would be billed for their own share. Not a dollar on me. The only thing I paid for was the reservation fee, refundable. Then I sent her a screenshot of the booking confirmation page, but cropped right above the billing details. She squealed, hugging me so hard it almost made me laugh. The following week was pure performance. I played the role of doting boyfriend flawlessly. I let her ramble about outfits, restaurants, the yacht photo shoot she wanted to recreate from some influencer's page. She bragged to her friends nonstop. I heard her giggle on the phone, saying things like, "He's obsessed with spoiling me," and "Ugh, he's just too loyal." Every time she said something smug, my resolve sharpened. Then the morning of the trip arrived. The airport was chaos. Her friends shrieking, dragging oversized luggage, taking group photos before we even checked in. Lena strutted like royalty, pretending paparazzi were watching. She kept tugging my arm, whispering, "Be patient, they're just excited," even though she knew exactly who they were showing off for. We got to the airline counter, and I watched the first ripple of confusion hit when the agent asked each girl for her ID and payment card. One friend snorted, "Payment card? No, it should all be on his." She gestured at me like a servant. The agent shook her head. "Each reservation is linked to the traveler's name. These charges need to be settled before boarding." Lena's eyes flicked toward me briefly, expectant, arrogant. I smiled gently and said, "Oh, right, Lena handled all your details with the booking link. She told me you all wanted the charges split, so it'd be fair." The silence hit in slow motion. Her friend's jaw dropped. Another blinked too fast. Someone whispered, "What the hell is he talking about?" Lena's face drained of color. "Marcus, what did you do?" she hissed, low enough for only me to hear. I said it carefully, kindly, like I was genuinely confused. "You said you didn't want people assuming I was trying to buy your friendship group. Splitting the charges was the obvious solution. Did you not tell them?" Her friends erupted instantly. "You told us he was paying. You said he was covering everything. Why would you lie about that? Do you know how much I charged this week expecting this to be free?" It was beautiful chaos, a perfect unraveling. The final blow came when the agent pulled up the totals on her monitor. 7 separate luxury package fees, each over $1,000. One friend actually clutched her chest like she was about to faint. Lena rounded on me, voice cracking. "Fix this. Fix it." "I can't," I said softly. "The system won't allow me to pay on your behalf unless you all redo the booking. and those prices have gone up since last month. They're double now, maybe triple. Her friends stared at her like she had personally set their bank accounts on fire. And then the yelling started. You said he was rich. You promised this was covered. I can't afford this. I took time off work for nothing. Lena grabbed my arm hard. Why are you doing this? You know I told them. Yeah. I cut in quietly. I know exactly what you told them. The look she gave me was pure panic. She knew then. She knew I had heard everything. And as their argument escalated into full-blown hysteria, I took a step back and watched her world collapse in front of the airline counter, piece by piece. That was the turning point. I didn't wait for the full explosion. Once her friends started shouting over one another, accusations flying, curses slipping out, fingers pointed, I simply said, I'll leave you to it, and turned away. Lena called after me, but her voice was swallowed by the chaos. I walked out of the airport into the sunlight, breathing the freshest air I'd felt in months. There's something beautiful about the first moment you stop being someone's doormat. It feels like stepping out of a cramped room you didn't know was suffocating you. By the time I reached my car, my phone had already buzzed 8 times. Then 15. Then 22. I didn't check any of them until I got home. By then, the notifications were overwhelming. Lena had gone through all 5 stages of emotional manipulation, rapid fire. First came the fake sweetness. Baby, this is just a misunderstanding. Tell me you didn't mean to do that. Then the guilt trips. You embarrassed me. You made me look stupid. Why would you do that to someone you love? Then the anger. Grow up. This is childish. If you want it out, just say it instead of humiliating me. Then the blame shifting. My friends are mad at me because of you. Fix this. Then the desperation. Please. I can't deal with them right now. They're saying horrible things. Just talk to me. Mixed in were messages from her friends, most of which weren't even coherent. One simply said, You ruined everything. I put my phone face down and made myself a sandwich. Peace tastes like turkey and cheddar, apparently. After I'd eaten, showered, and put on clean clothes, I finally sat down and opened the folder on my computer labeled Backup. Inside were screenshots of the group chat, all the messages, every insult, every assumption, every line dripping entitlement and manipulation. I gathered them into a single PDF. Then I attached the audio recording, just 30 seconds long, of the whisper I'd heard that morning. He's too scared to say no. He'll pay the whole trip. He should be grateful. I'll ditch him once I'm upgraded. I wrote one final message to Lena. This is why. Do not contact me again. Then I sent every file. Not to her. To the Queen's group chat. All of them. A minute later, my phone exploded with notifications I didn't bother reading. I muted the thread entirely. Not because I was afraid of the backlash, but because her downfall wasn't my responsibility anymore. I had simply removed my funding from her fantasy world. The implosion was her doing, not mine. The next morning, I woke up to silence. No calls. No texts. Not even a passive-aggressive emoji. She must have realized begging wouldn't work anymore. A week passed. I changed nothing about my routine. Work, gym, groceries, sleep. The quiet mornings felt like luxury. The evenings felt like freedom. Then one afternoon, while grabbing coffee at a small place near my office, I bumped into someone. Literally bumped into her. When I wasn't watching where I was going. She laughed, apologized, and handed me the lid I'd dropped. We talked for 5 minutes. Her name was Mara. She worked nearby. She didn't brag. She didn't pose. She didn't name-drop influencers or complain about anyone not paying for her lifestyle. She just talked. Honestly. Naturally. When she smiled, it wasn't for an audience. As we walked out together, she said, Maybe I'll see you around? I nodded. Yeah, I'd like that. Driving home, I realized something. I hadn't thought about Lena the entire conversation. Not once. That's when it hit me. Healing isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's simple. It's choosing something real after surviving something fake. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need to ruin her life. Life handled that part on its own. What I needed, what I earned, was peace. And for the first time in months, I had it. Because when someone treats you like a wallet, the best justice is showing them you were the value all along.